Mamy nowe sekrety, jeżeli chodzi o odcinek 67 Skibidi Toilet. Dzisiaj sobie je odkryjemy. Mamy Elite Kamerę, który zrobił analizę odcinka. Chcę się odnieść do jego słów i zapraszam serdecznie. Lajkujcie, subskrybujcie i lecimy. No właśnie, odcinek będzie podzielony. 57 odcinek był podzielony na dwie części, tutaj również się tak zapowiada i myślę, że nawet będzie więcej. 10, no właśnie, patrzcie jakie to jest, że 10 odcinków temu był odcinek 57, który był podzielony na dwie części i teraz 67 będzie podzielony. No, wydaje mi się, że będzie więcej części niż dwie tego odcinka, bo to będzie naprawdę walka taka dość duża się zapowiada, nie?
Also be multiple parts. If Dafuk wants to continue on the tradition, this episode might not seem big when you just watch it, but in the grand scheme of things it was a great episode and a build-up to what's to come.
Nie no, moim zdaniem to był bardzo dobry odcinek. Jak widzicie, mamy coraz więcej tajemnic. Ten sekretny agent mnie naprawdę zastanawia, co on tu kombinuje, nie?
Titan duo come back, and as I guessed on my video about the leaks, Titan TV Man was nowhere to be seen, and it seems like the huge battle is beginning in the next part or episode.
No właśnie, wydaje się, że Tytan TV Man dopiero wkroczy do akcji, jak się zacznie dziać coś naprawdę złego.
Because the description of this episode is "It's time."
A, czyli już czas.
Yesterday, after the episode 67 leak was discovered on the merch store, people thought episode 67 would come out later today. But
Ja też myślałem, że jak pojawił się nam pierwszy przeciek, to on dopiero odcinek będzie na następny dzień, a tu się okazało, że wiecie.
Boom sent this image to his Discord's Skibidi spoilers section and said 40 minutes. If we go back, he also said 40 minutes for episode 66 as well when it was about to come out.
Teraz daje nam znać, że 40 minut wcześniej o tym, że odcinek wychodzi, więc trzeba się naprawdę na bieżąco sprawdzać, jeżeli ktoś nie chce przegapić.
So I'm guessing that from now on we'll be getting a 40-minute to 1-hour heads up before episodes are released. Because before this, instead of Dafuk himself, the old owners of the Discord used to reveal that it was coming out about 1 hour before it was released. The last two episodes both came out at similar times, and I'm not going to lie.
No w sumie tak, pozostałe odcinki w podobnym czasie wyszły, prawda? No to trzeba akurat to powiedzieć.
After I saw the leak, I thought it would come out later today as well.
Ja też myślałem, że dopiero wyjdzie o wiele później ten odcinek, a tu się okazało, że już... O której to było? O 6 rano ten odcinek?
I guess it's time to adjust my sleep schedule. And before we get into the actual analysis, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe because we just reached 800,000 subscribers.
Okej, on tutaj mówi o tych subskrybentach, przejdźmy dalej.
To me, today's episode revealed a lot of stuff about what's going on and what might happen, but it left more questions instead of answering my questions.
Zawsze tak jest, że im kolejny odcinek, to jest więcej pytań się pojawia niż odpowiedzi na nie, nie?
We didn't get to see what happened between episodes 65 and 67. There were actually some differences in Scientist Toilet. And if he is the real Scientist Toilet...
No właśnie, to jest ciekawe, że ten naukowiec wygląda podobnie do poprzedniego, tych jak go widzieliśmy, ale i też są pewne różnice, między innymi te oko, ta szrama tu na tym oku, dziwne i on tak niewyraźnie wygląda.
And with this we also saw Secret Agent twice while watching the scene again. And I'm hoping that we'll get to understand everything that happened in between because episode 66 and episode 67 part 1 probably had a decent time skip between them.
Czy będzie taka różnica czasowa? No ciekawe to jest, nie? Że no w jakim to nie wiemy tak naprawdę w jakim odstępie czasu się to różniło, ale być może jest tu różnica czasowa dość znaczna, ponieważ jakby to jest ten sam obszar, gdzie był odcinek 66. No właśnie, ja już od samego początku mówiłem, że to zdjęcie na tablecie będzie fałszywe i tak się okazało. Więc... Mamy tutaj w ogóle naukowiec się pojawił 2 razy, to jest ciekawe, nie?
And it looks like we are watching from a large cameraman POV instead of a normal cameraman POV. This gets more clear later in the video, but either way we would be looking at this devastating scene because my guess is that the toilets caused a havoc after the special agents left the scene on episode 66, and the squad POV cameraman is going with might actually be the rescue squad.
No właśnie, też mi się wydaje, że może to być te kamery, które jadą i z której perspektywy patrzymy, może być tym składem, drużyną ratunkową. I rzeczywiście jest jakiś odstęp czasu między tym, co się tu wydarzyło, między 66 a 7, no bo w 66 ten naukowiec się dopiero pojawił, a w 67 znowu jakby zniknął, nie było go i znowu jakby się pojawiał, więc wydaje się, że były odstępy czasowe.
And if you look carefully, there are both dead cameraman, speakerman, and toilets.
Tak,
which means that
widać tu walkę, nie?
Fight 100% happened here, and the whole place is burning in flames. And while this is happening, we see something strange. If you look behind, you can clearly see a green glow flash for a
No, tu u góry mamy sekretnego agenta, no to akurat.
second with someone next to it. We all know at this point that this is the secret agent. It didn't seem like he actually interfered today, but this doesn't mean that he won't, because every episode he has been interfering more and more.
No, on cały czas się udziela, ale on się pojawia 2 razy w tym odcinku, co ciekawe.
Also, don't forget that this was just part 1 of this episode.
No właśnie,
which means
pierwsza
that he
część.
probably is still there
Tak.
and might interfere and appear in the next part as well. This episode is just part 1. And it was almost 2 minutes long, which means the full episode 67 is probably going to be the longest episode ever in the series, surpassing 3 minutes.
Też mi się tak wydaje, że ten odcinek będzie podzielony na więcej części i będzie najdłuższym. Tak. To jest ciekawe, dlaczego oni uciekają i w ogóle nie zwracają uwagi na ten samochód, który tu jedzie. Zamiast z nimi, wiecie, podczepić się, oni gdzieś uciekają. I właśnie, jak oni przetrwali, jak wszyscy zginęli. Podejrzane jest ten moment, jest podejrzany.
Unless they are troops that came after, like the POV cameraman, I feel like it's very unlikely to survive an event like this, because seconds later we'll see the true nature of what happened here. But before that, we see 2 new machine gun toilets attacking us, which we kill by launching 2 rockets.
Nowy rodzaj toalet, to też wiemy.
If you pause the scene right here, you can clearly see 1 speakerman and 1 large cameraman who has been killed on the right side. But if you look carefully, they literally have been stabbed with huge metal.
No ale to akurat wiemy, że to zrobiła policja Skibidi Toilet, nie?
What a cruel way to kill someone. This also means
To już
that it wasn't
widzieliśmy
simply just a
wcześniej.
normal toilet who killed these Alliance troops, because a normal toilet could not have done this, and we actually know who did it.
No to
If we roll
policja.
back to the beginning of episode 65, you'll see the upgraded police toilet and how he kills people. These dead troops on the ground actually foreshadow what's to come, because seconds later, we get the return of the upgraded police toilet from episode 65.
To się zgadza, no.
He appears out of nowhere and starts shooting the vehicle, and if you pause at the right second, you can see that he actually hits the driver cameraman twice. After the car stops,
No, biedny kierowca został zdewastowany totalnie.
the police toilet also shoots the large cameraman next to us right when he is about to shoot. But it seems like that was his last bullet, because if we pause the scene when he sees that the POV cameraman also has rockets.
To jest dobre, że z naszej perspektywy też te kamery wyciągają broń, ta, która nagrywa, i też mu tu przyfasoliła ostro.
Kids, don't go into a fight ever, but if you do, make sure to analyze your opponents first. Otherwise, you'll end up like the upgrade police toilet.
Tak.
Right after this, we see the POV cameraman shoot his rockets at him, causing the police toilet to almost crash. But it seems like his defenses are very strong, because he was able to actually escape and survive 2 rockets. Normally, toilets on his scale die pretty quickly, but it seems like their armors have improved quite a lot after the return of the scientist toilet. After the police toilet leaves, we get a decent look at the place we are at. But if you were subscribed and watched my last video, you already knew about this place, because I covered it when the episode 67 leaks got out, and it actually gave us a better look compared to what we see in the video, because it was shown outside of the cameraman POV.
To właśnie, słuchajcie, ten leak, który się udało zdobyć, pokazuje nam całą tą bazę. I to jest baza, która jest laboratorium, i tutaj na pewno były eksperymenty na Skibidi Toilets.
and that this mountain most likely has a secret base inside and is
No
probably
to
very
widać,
huge.
że na 100% tu jest sekretna baza i
There are
laboratorium.
many speculations going around about what's inside,
No
and my
laboratorium
theory
na
is that
stówę.
it's probably the laboratory for the
No.
toilets, and G-Man toilet might actually be inside here
Czy może być tam G-Man? Wszyscy chcą powrotu tego
waiting
G-Mana,
for
no.
scientist toilet to get him outside with his upgrades, but I'll get to why I think it's a big lab inside later in the video. After police toilet leaves the area, the large cameraman also get out of the car because the driver is dead. But something really weird happens right here because the POV cameraman suddenly looks to his right, and we
No właśnie, patrzcie, tu też mamy sekretnego agenta. Tutaj, w tym miejscu, on już jest bliżej, nie?
see the
I
secret
bez tej otoczki, bez tego teleportu jego.
agent standing on the smoke, but it really seemed like the POV cameraman either felt something watching him in this scene. We don't know what the secret agent is planning, but we know that he has been teleporting left and right the last 2 episodes, and it seems like this will continue. In episode 66, he literally orchestrated a whole scene by showing a photoshopped image to the
Tak, on tutaj jakby nadzorował te kamery. Dzięki temu, że on zmieniał te wszystkie rzeczy w tablecie i tak dalej, on nimi
cameraman,
kierował.
resulting in them becoming berserk and
Tak.
actually being able to escape with the TV man thanks to the support of the special agents and especially thanks to my beloved TV woman. Not gonna lie, after episode 66, I thought we'd get to see TV woman again, which I was really hyped for, but I guess I'm not
Ten i ta TV Woman,
getting
cały
the treatment
czas
I wanted on
zakochany,
my
nie?
episode 65 analysis anytime soon. Also, before we continue, I realized something about the second scene with the secret agent. I really don't know if it's anything important the second he shows up. If you look in the opposite direction, at the secret bunker's door, you can see the password or the entrance mechanism actually flash for a second, which looks like it actually has been tampered with. Maybe the secret agent
To
actually
jest ciekawe, słuchajcie, no. Wygląda na to, że ten sekretny agent też manipuluje tymi zamkami w tym.
with this device to allow the Alliance
Patrzcie.
to easily enter, because both these happen at the same time, and unless it's a rendering mistake, it actually would make sense. And it's such a small detail that if it's actually real,
Widzieliście to,
I
jak
would
to
be
tak
really
migło? Patrzcie,
surprised
mignęło,
that I noticed it.
zaświeciło
Also,
się.
if it's true, we now know that the secret agent is clearly planning something about, and I think we'll get to see it.
Albo, słuchajcie, albo ten agent chciał otworzyć kamerą to wejście, albo scientist, naukowiec otworzył i teleportował się ten toksyczny mafia.
Seconds later, we see the police toilet trying to sneak up to the large cameraman, but he gets shot with rockets.
To są akurat postacie, które przyteleportowały się z naukowcem,
And if you
nie?
freeze
Ten
the
Skibidi.
frame right before, you can see that the rockets that were shot at him before broke his armor and removed one of his weapons. But these don't matter because he literally gets obliterated after getting shot. As I said before, don't be like this police toilet. After the police toilet gets killed, we get a zoom in on the large cameraman who shot him, and we can see that he still has the metal spear on his chest. And even though everything, this Sigma cameraman gives us a thumbs up.
No, dostał ciąg w górę, no ale wiecie co, jak się to skończyło, nie?
Chad, like being, I wish you could have survived what's about to come, but before we continue, we also get to see the bunker a lot more clearly thanks to this zoom in. And the
No
red
właśnie.
thing on the left is 100%
Patrzcie, tu jest
some type of mechanism that opens and
jakiś
closes
znak
the
jest,
bunker door,
DNA
and it
chyba.
probably has some security measures that the secret agent might have disabled. It also says lockdown on the bunker door, but that might just be something that came with the asset.
No właśnie, jeżeli chodzi o napis, to być może już był wcześniej po prostu taki.
But there is something else that piqued my
Znak
interest, and it's the
DNA.
logo on top of it. If you look
No,
really
tutaj mamy takie DNA.
carefully, you can see a DNA logo on top of the lockdown text.
No.
And remember what I said about this place being a toilet laboratory. To me, this was the first giveaway, and it might actually be true because we get to see some insane stuff literally a second later in the video. Suddenly we see the black teleportation smoke and a mechanic hand with toxic capabilities come out of it and shoot acid onto the Chad cameraman,
No
literally
to
metling him.
słuchajcie, już tak naprawdę ulepszona broń z kwasem. Totalnie.
And once it hits the rocket launcher, he explodes. Thanks for your service, large cameraman. We'll never forget you.
Na wieczny
I know
spoczynek.
that plot armor doesn't work on regular troops, but I wish he survived. Anyways, right after the POV cameraman shoots his rockets inside the black smoke, but it doesn't look like it worked at all because this crazy toilet comes out of the black smoke as if nothing happened. This new upgraded toilet looks like Mafia toilet from episode 28 because of the hat.
28 czy 26,
But
moi
we don't
drodzy.
know if they are the same.
No ale to jest
But
ciekawe,
one
że on
thing is for sure,
przetrwał, nie?
This toilet has been upgraded to the brim
No i
and he
został
has no
ulepszony.
chill. He has the strider legs, he has his jetpacks, and he has the classic buzzsaw that most toilets have. But the main thing he has a hand cannon which shoots
No
acid.
właśnie, ręczna
And if you
armata.
guys are actively watching the series, you would know that acid is getting more and more popular among
To jest bardzo istotne i oni muszą wymyśleć coś, słuchajcie, żeby się chronić przed tym
toilets.
kwasem, te
And it seems
kamery.
like the Alliance will need to take more defensive measures against it because
Tak.
for now, only the Titan cameraman could defend himself against his with his shield, but now he won't be able to as well, because if you rewatch episode 64, you'll see that his plasma shield was definitely attached to his right arm, which doesn't exist anymore. And right when the Mafia toilet was about to shoot the acid onto the POV cameraman, something literally
No
throws
i
a toilet
Tytani
at him,
wrócili,
leaving
nie?
him shocked, and we see that it's the Titan duo
To było
arriving
piękne,
at the
to było
scene,
naprawdę
showing
bardzo
us that they
piękne.
aren't dead, and the Imagine on episode 66 was totally fake.
No
We first see
właśnie,
the Titan
miałem
speaker
rację.
man on top of a plane toilet trying to kill him, and Titan cameraman walking very heavily without his right arm in place, and he seems very angry because even though he is at a disadvantage because of his arm, when the quadruple buzzsaw toilet arrives at the scene, he literally takes one of the buzzsaws and
Wyrwał
simply
sobie
sticks it
to,
to his arm
słuchajcie,
and
i
starts using it
jazda.
as his new arm.
O.
Bro literally stole an arm from a toilet. You know it's about to go down when
Ale to ślady takie, słuchajcie, czerwieni, to krwi
cameraman
chyba
is
też
this
ślady.
mad, and this is just the beginning. After getting his new hand, he simply demolishes the quadruple saw toilet, but right after the Mafia toilet sneak attacks him from the behind. Even though he was already damaged and we could see
Został, słuchajcie, uszkodzony, a i jeszcze polany kwasem i jeszcze
electricity coming out
funkcjonuje.
from his shoulders and
Masakra,
core
naprawdę.
before. He takes on this damage pretty well and literally slaps the shit out of the Mafia toilet with the slap sound effect, which reminded me of what happened in episode 28.
Też dostał
And we also see
plaskacza
Titan
wcześniej.
Speakerman slap the Mafia with full might seconds later, which was so goofy. But before that, right after Titan Cameraman slaps the Mafia toilet, Titan Speakerman shoots the acid hand of the Mafia toilet, causing it to explode the acid on his own face. And we can clearly see that his skin is burned down. But that's not the important thing, because you do know that acid literally melts the Alliance troops. But if you look carefully, nothing really happened to Mafia toilet's tools.
No właśnie, wygląda na to, że opancerzenie, pancerz Skibidi Toilet chroni przed tym kwasem, więc może w jakiś sposób opracują technologię wytwarzania takiego metalu,
And
ci
they are all
kamery,
fine,
to by
even
było
though the
fajnie.
acid touched them. This means that the toilets have a material that is protective against the
Tak.
acid. And I think after the Alliance invades the Skibidi Toilets bunker, they'll probably steal the recipe for this material as well. And you already know that the Mafia toilet gets slapped by Titan Speakerman right after this scene. Titan Speakerman doesn't even look back after slapping him and just carries on, but the way the Titan duo looks at each other, it's giving me some sus vibes thanks to the troll leaks. God damn the way they look at each other. I wish TV Woman looked at me like that. Right after this scene, we see a huge black smoke, and you could have guessed who was about to come even before seeing the reveal.
Właśnie,
The POV
Tytan
cameraman gets back a little
naukowiec.
with his jetpack, and we see the arrival of the scientist's toilet. But there is something clearly
No jest
different about
zupełnie
him,
inne,
because
co
if you look
inaczej
at
to
his
wygląda.
right eye, it's now red, and there is a black scratch on it which makes him look demonic. We still don't know when the red eyes
Czerwone oko i tu taka jakaś czarna szrama czy
come and
coś.
go for other toilets and
Taki
what they
znak.
exactly mean, but one thing we know is whenever there is a toilet with red eyes, they usually act a little more crazy. And scientist toilets laugh in this episode.
No właśnie, słuchajcie, naprawdę to, co się dzieje, to jest niesamowite. No i w 67 odcinku drugiej części będzie naprawdę bitwa i wydaje mi się, że naukowiec kogoś przywoła. Jeszcze są astrotoalety, o nich cały czas zapominamy. Sprawdźcie kolejne odcinki, na ekranie się wyświetla.